Welcome back to Africa 54. An African ambassador to the United States cycles through the streets of America's capital to educate girls in his home country. Here's Africa 54's Ndimyake Mwakalyelye with the details. Ndimi.
Well, thank you, Vincent. More than 100 Malawian girls are assured of education this year, thanks to fundraising efforts of many, including the country's ambassador to the U.S.
Yay! How do you feel?
Good. This is exciting.
Awesome.
I thought I was going to drop dead.
Ambassador Steve Matenje just biked 40 kilometers around Washington, D.C. as part of a triathlon to raise money to send girls in Malawi to school. He says he wants to set an example.
We got to work hard, all of us, whether you're in school, whether you're working, whether you're biking, you must have a goal. And our goal today was to raise $100,000. And I believe we have made it.
Yep.
They should go finish strong.
Yes, yeah. Exactly.
Not only did they make it, they surpassed it, raising $103,000 so far and counting. Ambassador Matenje was one of 50 participants for Try for Malawi, an annual race organized by the non-profit group Advancing Girls' Education in Africa, or Age Africa. The group has been raising money this way for girls in Malawi for the past 4 years, under the auspices of the annual Nations Triathlon to benefit the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, which had about 4,000 participants in total this year. As a team or as individuals, participants must swim for 1.5 kilometers, bike 40 kilometers, and then run 10 kilometers to complete the race. The money raised by Age Africa will grant full scholarships to 140 high school Malawian girls this year, up from 120 last year. The money will also fund mentorship and life skill education programs for about 400 other girls. Age Africa was started by Xanthi Ackerman, who visited Malawi as a graduate student in 2005 and saw a need to help.
I'm passionate about Malawi because it's a beautiful country where partnership is truly sought after and where we've been welcomed in that spirit to make a difference for the girls in Malawi.
While having fun is part of the Try experience, the commitment participants have to educating girls is serious. Age Africa has partnered with 11 public schools in the district of Zomba, Mungochi and Mulanje in southern Malawi to help girls, most of whom have lost either one or both parents and are too poor to afford school, to become first-generation high school graduates and even higher. Age Africa's oldest alumna is in her third year in university. Well, joining us now to talk about the experience of participating in the triathlon, as well as the significance of such a triathlon for the girls in Malawi, is Ambassador Steve Matenje. And of course, I mentioned earlier, he's Malawi's ambassador to the U.S. And we're so honored and pleased to have you on our show, Ambassador Matenje.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
First, I should ask you how you feel after biking for 24 miles, 40 kilometers.
I feel great. I really feel fit and light in the body. And I thought I did a great thing.
And that was your first time competing in a triathlon of that distance?
Yes.
Or of any triathlon at all?
Exactly. And I don't remember ever cycling, for that distance ever before. So it was great to take part in that, race.
And for the sake of full disclosure, I should mention, I was biking too. We biked together.
Precisely.
So I want to know what made you think about participating in this event, specifically for the Malawi girls.
Yes, I was biking for Malawi girls. I was introduced to this idea by an NGO known as Age Africa. I was introduced last year to this NGO, and when they explained to me what they are doing in Malawi, exclusively dedicating themselves to promoting girl education, I was very impressed. And I asked myself, what can I do to help this NGO and to help our girls in Malawi to attain their educational goals? So that's what motivated me.
And of course, by participating in this triathlon is obviously an endorsement of what Age Africa is doing in Malawi and the impact it's making on the girls?
Exactly. We have many NGOs that are operating in Malawi. And I think Age Africa is one of those very few NGOs that I believe making a huge impact, transforming the lives of ordinary people, especially in the rural areas.
Now, somebody watching this will say, of course, this is a great cause. People biking, swimming, running all over Washington, D.C. to raise money for other causes, but your particular group for Malawi girls. And some would say, isn't that the government's responsibility? Why is money being raised in Washington for them? What's your response for us for that?
Yes, you know, governments now, especially in developing countries, are now realizing that they cannot be able to do everything alone. There was a time when we thought everything must be done by the government. And that led into people believing that they should get handouts from the government. But now we're encouraging partnerships. Even the Millennium Development Goals that were set by the United Nations in 2000 you know, encourage partnerships. So the Malawi government is in partnerships with many development partners, including organizations in the United States, to finance or promote development work in Malawi.
Now, outside the partnerships, what is the Malawian government itself doing? We know that President Joyce Banda has been a strong advocate of, you know, not only women's issues, but also children. Has anything really happened and changed under her administration in terms of really advancing girls' education so that they're none left behind to the extent that they are now? Exactly.
Right now, the Malawi government's efforts is to promote economic development. But we also realize that in doing that, it's easy to leave behind the most vulnerable people in Malawi, especially those in the rural areas. So the government is now investing heavily in promoting education, building more schools, training more teachers, building hostels, especially for girls, to ensure that they remain in school, discouraging harmful practices that discourage girls from advancing their education, providing for the facilities they need in schools, for example, sanitation facilities. Those are some of the things that make girls stay away from school. But we're also promoting gender equality and also issues concerning health, reproductive health, to ensuring that girls are aware of their rights.
And I know pregnancy is a big reason for the dropout from as low as primary school right up to high school. Is anything being done to really address that issue?
Yes, the government is reviewing the marriage age. Right now, the marriage age is about 15. It was increased to 16, but there's still an ongoing debate that perhaps we should increase that minimum to a higher level to ensuring that we protect our girls from unwanted pregnancies and early
childhood marriages.
Exactly, as well as child labor. And the only way we can do that, one of the keys, is to promote education. Teaching our girls, showing them that it is only education that will make them advance in their own lives, and that will help them to transform the lives of their own people in their own communities.
Now, I might have missed this at the event, but I believe they announced only one ambassador at that triathlon, and that was you.
I was amazed when I heard my name being announced,
right,
that I was one ambassador who took part in that race. I understand there were over 8,000 athletes.
I believe 4,000, but it could have been 8. But
yeah.
Now, is this something you could encourage your colleagues in the diplomacy field to partake in?
That's precisely why I registered to participate. And I've spoken to some of my colleagues, especially in Southern Africa, trying to sensitize them on the need to do this next year so that we can show our American friends that we just don't want to depend on the efforts being made in the United States to help Africa develop, but that we Africans must be in the forefront, to do whatever is necessary in order to make us move forward very quickly.
Well, thank you, and good luck.
Thank you very much
in that and all your other endeavors.
Thank you very much indeed for having me.
Ambassador Steve Matenje is Malawi's ambassador to the United States, and he joined us here on Africa 54. And I should say now he's also a triathlon expert. Back to you, Vincent.